Hi everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel, or welcome if you are new here. So for today's video I have a bit of a different one actually. I feel like I haven't filmed that much wedding content, so if you don't know or if you're new here, then I got engaged last year and we are due to get married in 2022. Very exciting, although we're getting married abroad, so it has kind of, you know, put a halt to all the planning and everything, because obviously we can't go out there and see caterers or decorations or florists or anything like that. So there hasn't been loads to update you on, so that's why I haven't really filmed that much wedding content. And there's been bits and bobs in my vlogs and stuff, but this video is going to be a fully dedicated wedding chat video. Basically, I've not been to loads of weddings. I've probably only been to about 3 or 4. So I asked over on my stories for some ideas if any of you guys have sort of been to weddings and there's been something there that you thought was really nice or really thoughtful, or you thought, yeah, I'm gonna do that at my wedding. So, you know, not necessarily the band, the photographer, the food, but like the little kind of thoughtful or just like nice gestures that were there, or just fun things, just things that made the day really, really fun. So I asked over my Instagram and I got so many responses, like literally so many. And so I thought it'd be a nice idea to just sit and chat through them over on YouTube, because some of them I absolutely love and some of them I'm definitely like planning on doing. Okay, so the first idea is disposable cameras on the tables for your guests. So I love this idea, and I do think, depending on how many guests you're having and how many tables and how many cameras, it is relatively inexpensive to do so. You can buy these cameras for like £4 or something from Boots. Obviously getting them developed also costs as well, but I do think it is such a cool idea just to have that real kind of like instant photos that nobody can delete or change or edit, and just have them like of all the fun moments on the day that the photographer probably won't catch, because the photographer will be focused on, like, I don't know, the bride and groom and stuff. So I think it'd be really nice to see the evening part of the wedding through your guests' eyes in a way. So I love that, and I'm sure getting those photos developed and getting them back is like hilarious. I think that would just be like so fun in itself, and then I'd love to like send the photos to the people who were in it. But however, I did get a couple of messages from people who'd worked at weddings or had been to similar weddings and said, firstly, if you're having children at your wedding, then the disposable cameras weren't recommended, because often the children would have just taken them and, you know, just taken really blurry photos, or photos of like the waiters, or like ones up their noses and stuff. So yeah, a couple of people did say that to me, and then a few other people did say to me, like, when people are so drunk, like the photo quality is really poor. So it's something to consider. I think it would still be nice just to have a few dotted around, maybe not to have one on every single table, or maybe just have like 1 or 2 that are going round for people to use. And also obviously making sure that someone is there to collect them at the end of the night, so that they don't just get like chucked away or something, because that would be such a shame. But yeah, I do love the idea. I think it's a really cool one. Let me know what you guys think down below. Okay, so a few people are saying photo booths, and then a few other people are saying don't do photo booths. It's so funny, like the kind of different advice that's given, but I do love a photo booth at a wedding. I am normally like in there taking photos at some point, and I love it, like obviously when there's like props and like cool stuff that you can like have fun with. I think it is really fun, but a few people said the only problem with having like a photo booth or something like that is it kind of pulls guests away from the dance floor, which is obviously something to think about, because I also love like a full dance floor at a wedding. So yeah, I don't know, it's a kind of like pros and cons to that, but I do think it can be done really cool. My sister did a really cool one where we all took like a little video in front of a camera, and then the videographer made it into like a music video. Sounds kind of weird, but it was really cool, and definitely a nice way to look back at the day when it's like a little bit more casual, rather than like your full kind of footage from your videographer. So yeah, I like that idea. And then yeah, obviously photo booths are really cool. You can get some really cool like vintage style ones. I'll pop some pictures on screen actually. You can get some really cool ones, or you can get like a big kind of mirror that takes photos. There's so many cool things you can do. So a lot of people also said for the guest book to have a Polaroid camera. So have like a little station set up somewhere, have a Polaroid camera that people can take photos and then stick it down in the guest book, or you can even like hang it up on like a string or something, and then write a little message or whatever, which I love. I think that looks so nice. There are loads of really cool kind of like guest book ideas actually. I actually saw a TikTok, which if I can I'll try and pop it on the screen, but basically it was like an old-fashioned telephone, and people could record messages, and then they made it into a vinyl or just a kind of sound recording for you, which I thought was so nice, because I feel like it's so rare that you would ever have all of your favourite people in one place, and then to get them all to like say something just to have that as a memory, I just thought it was really, really special. So that's definitely a great shout. I don't know if they do that in the UK because I think it is over in America, but it might be worth checking it out. Yeah, there were loads of good guest book ideas like that. And the same, you could do that with the photo booth, obviously, if you can print off 2 and then stick one in the guest book. A few people said video messages as a guest book, so you can get like your videographer to go around and get everyone to do like a video message, which I think is really, really nice. Someone else also came up with a really, really cool idea of having postcards on the table. So they'd already been stamped, so they popped a stamp on there, and it was postcards of, they did an abroad wedding, so it was postcards of the country that they were in, and they asked all the guests to write something like for the kind of guest book and then to just pop it in a post box. And then obviously when they got home, they were having like all these postcards come through, and they all came through kind of gradually, and she said it was just so, so nice, which I love that idea, because I think it's so nice like on the day for the guests to write a little something and then for you to receive it like later on. Obviously during the wedding there's so much going on, and the next few days are probably like a lot going on too, so it's quite nice to receive something later, but the only concern is if guests don't remember to post them. A lot of people said to have a basket in the toilet with flip-flops in, and also like other kind of emergency essentials like deodorant, hairspray, hair ties, little safety pins, boob tape, a little kind of like body spray or perfume or something like that, just so like everyone can have a little bit of a freshen up, which I think is a really nice idea. And my friend actually did that with the flip-flops, and it was brilliant, because after a while you just can't do that long in heels, and if you want to have a good time then the flip-flops are just essential. So yeah, baby wipes, chewing gum or mints, there's so many things you could pop in, and I think it would just look so cute. You literally just have to get like a little basket from somewhere, and I think you can do that kind of on a budget as well. So another idea was to ask your guests to write their favourite song on your RSVP. So when you send out your invites, include a little section that says, you know, what song would you like added to the playlist, which I think is a really, really nice idea, because then it kind of makes sure that you are providing music for everybody, and it kind of keeps everyone on the dance floor, and yeah, it just helps provide some inspiration. Obviously you don't have to use all of them if they're like songs that you really don't like, but I do think it's a nice idea. So a lot of people also said to do sparklers in the evening, and I have seen some gorgeous pictures of this. So yeah, I do think if you want those kind of like amazing pictures, then that would be so, so nice. There's a lot of really great other ideas that all revolve around food as well. Like so many people said do food trucks, which I love the idea of. I really like the idea of, instead of having like a sit down meal, having like loads of food trucks around with all different kind of stuff, which obviously means that like the guests can actually eat something that they want to eat. Also like a pick a mix stand, a lot of people said, or an ice cream like truck, especially if you're having an abroad wedding. Like a little kind of vintagey style ice cream stall would be so nice. Yeah, the pick a mix stand. Make your own cocktail is a cool idea as well. There's so many cool ones you can do around like food and drink. Having like your own signature cocktail that the bride and groom have kind of made up, and having a bar that just serves that. There's loads of cool ideas. Oh, someone said crepes, like a crepe stand, which would be so nice, although I would 100% spill like Nutella all down my dress. But I do think that would be so, so nice. I think food is just so important. Oh, and another one that everyone said is food for like the late evening. So obviously you've had your meal and then you're dancing all night, and by the time it gets to like 11:30, 12, everybody is starving. So getting like pizzas in, or getting like burgers, like, you know, that kind of food you want after a night out. So yeah, making sure you get that in. So we've done that, which is like, yeah, was one of the first things to tick off my list, because I always get hungry after like dancing the night away. So a lot of people have also said a free bar, which obviously is like really, really fun, and it does mean that everybody does tend to get quite drunk. But obviously I know that's not affordable for everyone, so somebody else did suggest doing, instead of doing like favors or like little gifts for the guests, doing like a voucher that they can use for the bar for like a cocktail or a drink or whatever. So I thought that was a nice idea as well. A few other entertainment ideas. First up, a lot of people said a magician, which I think is a really cool idea. Maybe in particular if you're having children at the wedding, I think that'd be something they'd really enjoy, but also adults too. A few other people said a cartoon artist or a caricature artist. Hopefully I'm saying that right, which I think is a really, really nice thing to have, like a keepsake from the day, maybe for that like in between period, like after the ceremony and before the dinner, just to give guests something to do. Loads of people said undercover singing waiters, which is something that I had never considered, but so many people said it was so, so cool, and like it really like made the wedding and stuff like that. So definitely an idea to think about. Like, yeah, not one that I'd thought about at all. Some people also said having a saxophonist or having like some live music at some point is a real game changer, like just for that entertainment, like I said, maybe in that like lull period, or if you can have a band or something in the evening. I mean, everybody loves live music, so yeah, I love that. So a few people made some really nice suggestions for like the table settings and stuff like that, and there was actually one of my followers sent me a picture, which I'll pop on screen, of what she did. She had kind of like a little card that everybody had to fill in, and she like provided obviously like pencils or pens or whatever, and it was like little questions or like advice you could give, or things like your favorite thing about the day or your advice for married life, which I thought was so nice, because it is just nice to have something like that. Obviously for the bride and groom, the day will go so fast, and you might not get to speak to everyone that you wanted to speak to, so to have like everybody write down a little something, I think is really special, and something you can pop in like a scrapbook or whatever and just kind of cherish. A few other people also said that the bride and groom had written like a little special message with the place card of the name, so everybody had like a little kind of just sentence that was about either their friendship or about what they loved about them or something like that, and they said it was so thoughtful and such a nice touch. If you're having a big wedding, that might be difficult because it would take you a really long time, but I do think that's a really kind of special, kind of personal idea. A lot of people also said silent discos, and I think this is such a good idea, especially where some venues might have like noise restrictions. So I know our venue at midnight, the music has to stop outside, we have to go inside, so I think like having a silent disco would be such a cool idea, and one that I hadn't even thought about at all. There are other kind of smaller things, so for example, if you were having abroad weddings, then having nice fans, you can get them personalised, which I think is really nice. Blankets for the evenings if people are sitting outside. So some more ideas for favours. People did charity donations, they did scratch cards, lottery tickets. So a few people said not to do any phones at the ceremony, and I actually want to get your guys' advice on this, because I feel like it's a difficult one. So it's called like an unplugged ceremony, where you ask your guests not to have their phones out until after the ceremony is finished. And I do see like the pros and cons for both. So I do think obviously that would make your pictures really nice, because nobody would have their phones kind of in front of their faces or anything like that. And actually a few photographers did DM me and say it makes life so much easier when the guests don't have their phones, because otherwise the photographer has to like work around that. So I think that is obviously like quite nice, and people are in the moment then, and they're just focusing on like what's going on instead of their phones. So I do think that is obviously a big pro. But then I also think it's nice to have, you know, photos captured from people like that aren't the photographer, because obviously there's going to be slight things that the photographer might miss. And also somebody else did say she loved seeing like the videos that people had taken, because you could hear like everyone's reactions and stuff to like when she was coming down the aisle, which I think is really nice. And also often you don't get your photos back from your photographer for a little while, so it can be nice to see the photos before the photographer gets them back. So yeah, there's pros and cons. I don't know, let me know what you guys think down below. And also there's a sort of thing about asking people not to post any pictures before you have, which I personally think is quite important, and I probably wouldn't do that at a wedding anyway. I kind of think that's just etiquette, not to post any pictures of the bride and groom before they have. So yeah, I don't know, there's a few sort of things to think about in sort of the age of social media and phones and stuff. But a lot of people said they just had little signs up saying it, or they got their, you know, best man or the registrar or someone like that to say, would you mind not taking any photos? And it's all been absolutely fine. So yeah, let me know what you guys think down below about the whole unplugged/plugged ceremony. A lot of people are saying make sure you do a hashtag so that you can see all the pictures and stuff. So yeah, that's a really good idea. And I've been trying to think of like a cool hashtag for mine and Sam's names, but it's just not working. So I don't think we're going to be able to do that. But yeah, that is a really good idea, and it's nice to be able to like see other people's pictures and stuff and just be like, oh, like, you know, if you don't know someone but you ended up sort of meeting them on the night and then sort of being able to find them on Instagram later, I think is a really nice idea. Somebody else also got in touch, and I have heard about this before, and she said that she creates like personalized songs for your first dance, and somebody else did tell me about this before, and I'll try and link her page down below, or anyone else that I can find that does it. But you can kind of send some like information about you guys, how you met, everything like that, and then this musician or singer will create a song based on all of that and like your story, which I think is so nice, and not something that I've heard done very often. So I think that would be such a nice idea, and be like so special as well for you guys to like just keep forever. And then obviously it can be performed like as your first dance, and yeah, I think it's really special. The only downside to that is obviously the guests won't know the song. So if you want a first dance that like gets everybody on the dance floor, that might not work as well as like a, you know, kind of fun one that everybody knows. But it really depends what kind of vibe you're going for with your first dance. So I think that's a really cool idea. I think the guests' favours is an interesting one, because I think there's like, again, like kind of conflicting opinions, because some people think they're a bit of a waste of money and that they just get left and forgotten, but then other people think they're a really nice kind of memento of the day. So there's a few ideas that people have said. So firstly, a charity donation, which I think is a really nice idea, and then everybody got like a little charity pin badge to like remember the donation and stuff. A scratch card is a cool idea. A lottery ticket is also a cool idea. A few people said candles, because it really took them back to like the smells of the day and everything, which I think is lovely. There's a few other good ideas as well. Oh, somebody said like a little packet of seeds so that people can plant them when they get home, which is really nice. So obviously if something grows there, it will just remind you of the day. But yeah, I do think favours can be quite difficult, and I think, agreed, definitely sometimes they are kind of like people don't really need them and they just get forgotten and stuff. So it's definitely something to kind of think about there. Oh, a few people said like little bottles of like spirits and stuff, so that all the guests can take like a shot, which I think is a nice idea as well. Like especially if you're getting married like abroad or something and they have a particular spirit that's like to their country or their sort of area, then I think that would be really nice. Somebody also said a little book / pamphlet of a short introduction of each guest and how they know the bride and groom, which I think is a really nice idea. And maybe, especially if you're doing like a bit of a smaller wedding, that you could kind of do that, because otherwise I think that could get quite expensive. But I think that'd be so nice, especially if you have, you know, family and friends from all different like areas and not everybody knows each other. It's a nice way of sort of introducing people, so that's really nice. And a few people also said coming down into, say, the dinner, to have the parents of the bride and groom and like bridesmaids or whatever, and kind of introduce them so that people know who they are and stuff. So yeah, it really depends on like the dynamic of your wedding and if people are going to know each other or not, but I think that's a nice idea as well. Somebody said we're having a vintage fun fair in the evening. How cool would that be? I love that. Oh my god, I want to come. That is literally such a cool idea. Somebody here said guests left messages in bottles on the table. We open one a year up to our 10-year anniversary. How nice is that? These are like the most thoughtful things ever. I love it. So a few people have said like memory corners for people who are no longer with us, which I think is a really nice idea, like having just like a little table with maybe a photo and a candle or something burning. It's a really nice touch. A few people have spoken about a first look, which again I'd love to get your guys' opinions on, because I think it's much more of an American thing than it is in the UK, and obviously like traditionally the groom isn't meant to see the bride until the ceremony, but a first look is obviously where they get like a little sneak peek before, which can be so nice for photos, and yeah, can just be really special. So I'd love to get your guys' opinion. I personally, even though I'm not traditional, I would love like the first time Sam sees me coming down the aisle to be at the ceremony, but I don't know, I could be swayed, so let me know what you guys think. A few more kind of like practical things are people arranging like buses to take guests home at the end of the night, which I think is really nice, because then people haven't got to worry about getting a taxi and stuff like that. Like just to have that kind of, just to make the day a little bit easier for people, I think is a really nice idea. And I do think that is the kind of like way I'm thinking about it with weddings, is just to make the day like as carefree and relaxing as possible. So I do think that is definitely a good idea. Someone else has had like an electric violinist, which is really cool, going around in the evening. My friend had one of them actually, and her violin was like lit up in like neon lights, and it just looked so cool. So yeah, that's a really good idea. It's interesting as well, like a few people are saying how they didn't really notice the small things, and the most important things for them were like the band and the food, but then a few people are saying these little things really made the day. So it's just interesting. I suppose you have to go with what you would like best at a wedding. A lot of people are saying that some of the most fun weddings they've been to had bands playing during the meal, so that like people were like up dancing like during the meal and stuff, which I think is really fun. Or somebody said we had our pianist playing and taking requests of songs whilst having our meal, which is a cool idea. A few other kind of games and stuff people played was somebody would go round during the in-between time of the ceremony and the dinner and asked for bets on what the couple's first dance was going to be, or first song, and then whoever won that would win like a bottle of champagne or something like that. So there's loads of fun things you can do like that, just to kind of get everyone chatting and break the ice a little bit as well. Or somebody has said a fire pit for like roasting marshmallows. That would be so nice. Okay, so I have gone through so many there. This video is so long, but hopefully you guys found this helpful if you are getting married, or even if you're not getting married and you just enjoy this kind of chat. I know I'd really like to watch this video whether I'm getting married or not. So yeah, and also, as I said, please do pop down in the comments down below any ideas you have, because I think that'd be really helpful for other people to read, and also your opinions on like the first look thing or about the unplugged ceremony and stuff like that. Would be really good to hear. And yeah, hope you enjoyed the video, guys, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.